Yeah, we in the building. We here, y'all. Yeah, you tuned in to me, gente, my people. Claudia CC Perez in the building. Ada's in the building. And we here working. We in here working. We just got in the building. We actually early today, which is crazy. We're not normally early, but today we are on time. Thank the traffic lords and all the other lords and the internet lords and all that. Just giving y'all a chance to get into the chat room. Make sure you share. And we are broadcasting live on YouTube today, so there's links on Facebook for you guys to press. So we get the viewership on Facebook, so this thing can all make sense. And we got a little bit more leeway on Facebook, by the way. That's what I like about it. Because we can kind of do things that we can't normally do on, we got more leeway on YouTube. So we get to do stuff that we can't normally do on Facebook. So it just made sense to do this. And right now in New York City, it's 54 degrees, mostly cloudy. A little bit chilly outside, so you're going to need a sweater or a jacket. Spring has not quite sprung yet, if y'all didn't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The real discussion can't be silenced. Perspective of yours, one night show. Mi gente, mi people, the conversation, and Q Nation.
You're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world. No, the universe.
Boardwalk Global Media Radio.
Still?
Chapter systems are offline.
Oh shit, nigga! Is you crazy? Get the power back on!
Oh shit, here we go again.
Please donate to our Cash App, Boardwalk Podcast. That's money sign Boardwalk Podcast.
You're listening to...
You're tuned into Boardwalk Global Media. Your show will begin in the next 2 seconds.
Yes, y'all. And once again, it is Mi Gente, My People, with your host, Claudia CC Perez, co-host Ada's in the building, Rock Logic's in the house, the mics are up, and we started today on time at 5 o'clock, y'all. It's going down. Big time. And yes, Miss Perez is swollen, for those of you who don't know. It happened at late in life. Late in life.
I'm trying to see you late.
Late.
Never late, always on time.
Always on time. And we're glad to have her here. Henceforth, that's why the show could be a little bit sporadic, because, life has a way of slowing things down when you have new life. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's going on. Once again, 54 degrees, is mostly cloudy. Traffic is all right. Cynthia Tibbs is in the building. What's up, Cyn? It's good to see you. She's clicking in. Once again, if you're in the room, just say hello, say hi, so we know we're there. Don't troll, because sometimes you'll be trolling out. And then I hear about it tomorrow. You be like, yo, man, the show was dope, man. I watched the show. I'm like, did you watch live? Yeah. Well, why you ain't say nothing? Well, I was just watching, man. I didn't want to say nothing. And your comments pop up on the screen, which makes it dope. So make sure you guys get to sharing. We share to Mi Gente, Mi People, the page, my people. We share to Mi Gente Voices, Hip Hop Boulevard, Boardwalk Global Media, Ralph McDaniel's page, Cool DJ Red Alerts page, bunch of pages, y'all. Saying hi to everybody. And bang. Woo. Wow. So first order of business is I want to welcome you back. Because it's been it's been about 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. So I'm glad that you're back in the studio and you're here to do the show. And I was thinking, I was in the car today and I was going, well, what's going to happen when she has the baby?
Listen.
Are you going to roll him in the stroller? Is that
Absolutely. You're going to be my co-host.
There you go. That's right. Are you breastfeeding? That's it.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to breastfeed on the show, just kind of,
Listen, you never know what you're going to get on this show.
I got to tell
what?
you. Yeah,
I will definitely tell y'all that. You never know. I'm like a box of chocolates.
So I'm going to turn this thing over to the host with the most, and we missed you a lot, really. Claudia CC Perez in the building.
I miss y'all, too.
So I think from the last time that you were here, we actually changed the background and everything. to kind of give us
I
a new
know.
look.
I've been watching. I understand. But at the end of the day, you know what? I'm always here in spirit. And y'all know y'all could always hit me up on Facebook. Those of you who got my number, y'all always hit me up. And you know what? I must say, really, yeah, it's been a journey. This is a journey. For those of you who are tuned in and stuff like that, this definitely is a journey, and I will say I'm enjoying every bit of the journey. So what's been going on the last couple of weeks is that when I went to my last appointment, my blood pressure was kind of high, which I told my doctor is not high. So the thing with that is it can cause preeclampsia, which is very bad, which is, premature labor and stuff like that. Because I'm kind of out of the miscarriage stage, so that's the most amazing thing to me. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to enjoy it. But the thing about it is if I go too fast, then I'll be on permanent bed rest and that's what they put me on, at home bed rest, which, I can't keep still, but I can have like 3 things I want to do. And this is what I do every day. I put 3 things on the list, and out of that list, I only get to accomplish 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to be put in the hospital. That's what I don't want.
Right.
Especially with the COVID and,
and everything else is going on.
That's going on. So I've been away from a lot of people. Like, the only people that really see me on a regular basis are my residents. And I even hibernate from them because, if you notice, I got a new look, y'all. I took my braids out for a very long time. I've always had them.
You got the natural hair.
Yes, I do, and I got hair. It's pretty long too. You understand?
Man, you got a Morena Afro puff going on the top.
Listen, I'm getting to enjoy my black girl magic.
There you go, black girl
loving it. I'm really, really loving it.
She's saying that now. She's gonna put her braids in the next couple of days.
Listen, it's okay because that's still black girl magic. Stop playing.
And
You know how we do.
She needs to leave it out more.
Yeah, no, and it's long too.
Listen,
It looks like it's pretty thick. Yes, it looks healthy.
it is healthy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about my hair, right? And this is the difference when you talk about hair. And I'm glad we talking about hair because, the Fresh Prince became Thugalicious. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, smack him down, Will. Yeah.
Listen. I we'll get to that. But what I'm loving about it is that my hair really loves water. My hair really loves water, and I've known that for a very long time. Water is always my best friend. So it brings my curls out. It defines my curls, and that's the thing with black hair. Black hair is so many things, but mind you, when it dries, it looks like a kinky afro, but it's soft like a cotton ball.
Okay.
So, and that's with most females. But what I appreciate about it is it's something I haven't done in a very long time, like decades. Like when I was younger, I did do the creamy crack, but before that, like my hair journey was like basically press and curl, because my first relaxer wasn't until I was 15. So water was always my best friend.
Got you.
Water and gel, and this is what I would get.
That's probably why your hair is healthy, because you didn't relax it until late in life.
Yeah, but when I did, I did. And this is the first time in decades also that I've actually done black hair. I don't like my hair the color black. I don't know why, but it's just, to me, it never suited me. And I'm just starting. It's about being comfortable with yourself.
100%.
But now, I want to put some color in it because I got them gray streaks coming in. I don't want the baby to feel like I'm a grandma.
Yeah, you do, huh?
Yes, I love them though.
Okay. You got wisdom streaks. That's what we call them. We call them wisdom streaks.
Absolutely. But it's so fun to be back. I missed you guys. I appreciate you guys. You've been keeping in contact. We're going to get on that NYCHA kick. But it's a celebration, and I had to come in because SCOTUS. We have Supreme Court, the first female black African American in the House for life. And she's young. And she's young.
Yeah, she'll be there a while. How old is she?
Listen, she looks young, so I didn't even have to look her age.
I think she might be about 50.
I don't think so.
No,
she don't look at black, don't crack, and you know what?
Yeah, but at 50, that's young to be on. Yeah,
She
that's
had
young.
another. She could do it.
She could do another 50 years.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm looking up while you talking.
We'll look it up. But yeah, Ketanji Brown, Jackson, absolutely. Like, salute to her. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the things I watched her yesterday, and what I took away from her speech, like one of the things that she said, I am a slave's dream.
Yes.
When she said that, you know, it kind of took me, and I shed a tear, because when you think about it, even though we did 400 years of slavery,
51.
bless her heart, she doesn't look it.
So she's young.
She don't look it, but she's still young.
So
That's still
to
young.
be on the Supreme Court, she's young.
Listen, she only got me by 6. So yeah, she still is young. If you could have a baby at that age, you know you young. But yeah, like this right here for me, I'm loving it, because she has broken ground. Even though we have Sotomayor there, so now we have. Yeah, I don't like him too much. We have a black man. We had him there for a while.
Yeah, Clarence.
Yeah, we don't want to mention the names.
Yeah.
You know what? You know how some of the cultures take our people away? You understand, and want to give them back when it suits them? He's one of those. I'm going to just say that. Because if you look into the news, he pissed me off a lot, because his wife was at the January 6th insurrection, and she was a real supporter, and you know, he was on that team that's supposed to be convicting, looking through all the garbage that was left by by the orange man. You know, it's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? I believe in integration, but sometimes we as African Americans, even as a minority, I'm gonna just say we as minorities tend to want to fit into this white culture so much that we act and we portray this image of what we're not. So at the end of the day, you know, we have to understand that we have to be who we are. Why do we always want to be accepted by the other? Because when you look at today, even with the Ukraine, they get billions of dollars, okay? They get billions of dollars from the United States, but yet look at NYCHA. And they're showing pictures of the bombing and the buildings. And you know what I thought about? Because I caught you, Rock, on it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I said, here it is. We have people in the Ukraine, and believe me, it's disgusting what's going on, and they are fighting for democracy, and we should support them. But again, we need to look on the inside. We need to fight for us. Because if you look at what's going on in Nigeria, it's atrocious. But if you look at those pictures of the decimated buildings, it looks like the Bronx.
That's exactly what you said,
and
too.
parts of East New York, Brooklyn,
Word.
back in the 70s.
Yep, for sure.
When they were burning the places
Down.
down. And it took decades for us to
build
get
that up.
something rebuilt. So why is it that, and like I said, you know, I'm going to call it what I call it. It's racist, and it just shows how racist America still is. And when you look at Ketanji and why it's so significant about her being there, not only that she is there, guys, we need to register to vote. We need to start voting, because those voter suppression, you will not feel it in New York State. You will not feel it here. But in Georgia, Alabama, and all those other places,
Mississippi,
they are rolling back everything that we won during civil rights movement.
absolutely.
They are rolling it back. They're saying that, you know what? We, as the governing people, which are white people, we are going to stay in control. I don't care if you outnumber us. We don't care how much you overpopulate a community. We are still going to stay in control.
Yes.
We cannot allow that. We can't allow it. Because again, like I said, I feel for the Ukraine. You cannot, because one of the stories that really touched me was a pregnant woman. She was giving birth in the hospital and didn't know where her husband was because he stayed to fight.
Right.
So her child may not ever get to know his father.
At all.
But again, how many people were displaced in the Bronx and had to live through that same situation, and we dredged through it continuously, even to this day, in the state that they have public housing. And it's not just public housing in New York City, it's public housing across the United States.
Absolutely. Because
we are all suffering. Again, how many times have we not said the lead poisoning in New York public housing, they only have on record affected 1,000 children? Do people really understand what lead poisoning does? Do people really see? It's not even do they understand. Nobody cares.
Right. So what? Just for those who might not know, what are the effects of lead poisoning?
Lead poisoning, that affects your whole brain.
Right.
That like that affects your immune system. That breaks your whole body down. Mm-hmm. And they only documented it was more kids affected by lead poisoning in NYCHA than Flint, Michigan. Remember, it was a big thing because it was in the water. It was in the water. Yeah. We had to ship water. They only could drink bottled water. What about NYCHA?
Yeah.
What about public housing? This is a government. It's the government doing it to us. And you know, the Republicans, right? They take this and they always say, "Oh my God, Biden isn't doing enough. He's too soft." But when Biden takes a stand and do something, and our gas prices rising and other things are starting to affect us, in the same mouth, they're talking about, "Oh, look what he's doing. That's not fair what he's doing to the people." We have to pay for it in some type of way. They don't want, let me tell you something. The only way the government can keep running is through our taxes. If they don't have revenue coming in, how are they going to support us, the people?
Right.
They can't support the people.
You're absolutely right.
They want to see, and then this is the stuff that we're not paying attention to. The United States right now, right? In that bill that they wanted to do with the COVID bill, the what's it called? The basically it's sort of like the COVID relief bill, okay, but it was for the world. And the Republicans turned it down. You know why they turned it down? They're saying, no, we don't have to vaccinate outside of the United States. If we put vaccinations outside of the United States in the places that need it more, there will be no more variants popping up that will infiltrate later on in the United States.
Right, correct.
So you understand what I'm saying? It's about the majority ruling over the minority. So we got to pay attention. We have to really pay attention. And you know what? I would say I'm one of the very few that when I turned 18, I made sure that I hit that ballot box. Mm-hmm. Because civic engagement used to be taught in schools and they're not being taught anymore. Civic engagement is something that affects every single person in this country. And one of the major things that, you know, when you come across the youth, you'll hear them say, well, I don't want to be involved in politics because look what's going on. But guess what? Politics involves you. A lot of you who are expecting the schools to change and everything else to change, you are just settling. You're settling. And it's only going to get worse if we don't stand up. We have to vote. You have to vote those people out. You have to. And especially now, if you look in the 68, shout out Nina, I see you on there. You understand what I'm saying? Running for our state committee woman. Yes.
That's Nina.
Yeah, Miss Saxon. Keep it going. You understand what I'm saying? She has a lot. She's very influential. You understand what I'm saying? She's very knowledgeable. And she's a very intelligent black girl magic. I'm just going to say it like that, you know. She's in it. She understands it, and she's one of my partners who really work with the youth also in the community.
Okay.
So shout out to her. You know what I mean? It's so much going on. I had to just come back here and just express what I'm feeling, what's going on, how things are changing. Like Governor Hochul, I can't say enough about her. Please make her be a one-term interim governor.
You think
Okay.
she's gonna win?
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, people really think she's gonna win.
You know what?
got
She
that
can.
seat being grimy. Cause I ain't nobody gonna tell me she ain't had a lot to do with bringing all of Cuomo's dirt out into the public. She did it dirty.
Listen, Cuomo ain't dead.
I hope he wins again. I like Cuomo.
You understand what I'm saying? Cuomo's not dead. Cuomo's gonna come back. Look, he gonna be the comeback king. Remember I said that. Because at the
So
end
tell
of
me, why do you not like Hochul?
Because she don't give a damn. She's one of them
grimy.
white people who don't give a damn about black and brown and minority people living in public housing. She doesn't care.
Tell her like it
She
is.
put $0 in her budget, and how dare she? You understand what I'm saying?
She put $0 in the budget
for public housing, period. Zero.
No money.
No money. None. And then had nerve to say, well, you're going to get it in the Build Back Better. And that brings me to an article in the Post, okay, where Build Back Better is only bringing us $3.4 billion. We can say that we're going to get exactly what we got last term. But I will say, shout out to City Council, because they are putting more money in the budget than ever before to support us. So again, even though that City Council race ain't there, we have our races that, you know, we have our state committee persons, male and female. We have our senators. Senate is where it's at. Senate and Assembly. Right now, if you look at their budget, is not much that was put into their budget for us neither. And the reason let's break it down, right? What is one of the main reasons of why public housing is the way it is? Because of the disinvestment from the government.
100%.
It is because of the oppression of the government. It is because of all the injustices that has been done to us as a people. That is why public housing is in the rut that it's in. Because it's not that people don't want to do better. And let's take away from that stigma. We have more people paying over $1,000 in rent in public housing than ever before. And if their income raises, guess what? Your rent raises. And that's okay, because you know what? Then we become our own self-sufficient unit. And that's what they're taking away from us.
You know, the fact that you're on the financial thing, I want to bring something up because, you know, you'll text me stuff during the week. You said $58,000 buyouts. What's that about?
Okay, we're going to get to that Post article. So the Post decided since, and I'm going to tell y'all, stay away from that paper. It's fugazi. Straight up. If you look at the way that they portray the youth and this gun violence that's going on, I mean, I could go into that. We're going to go into that.
Go ahead.
Okay? You want to portray the youth, the gun violence, and everything that's going on? Come on. What are y'all doing about the drugs that are filtering our communities? How are the drug dealers getting access to so easily to these drugs and these guns in our communities? Be real about it. You understand what I'm saying? Where are the opportunities for the people in our communities? You want to say that you flooding our communities with resources, but they are redundant. They're very redundant, and they don't do the in-depth work that needs to be done to be successful. That's what it is. So then in the Post, and it had my picture of my development with Chuck Schumer when Chuck Schumer first came out. And he's another one. Where you at, Chuck? Where you at? Mm-hmm. Nobody could reach you right now. All of my compadres who stuck with you, I've even approached you even in Puerto Rico and told you. Just this October, I told you we're dependent upon you. And I want to know that You're a person of your word. And I know you by yourself could not do it alone. So don't think that you still can't come around us, because we are used to failure. But where do we go from here? I want to talk about plan B, because NYCHA now, and you know, for organizations who are out there saying that the blueprint is off the table, the blueprint is not off the table. So please stop saying that. You understand what I'm saying? The blueprint is actually going to be pushed through even more now than ever, because that was the plan B to when the $40 billion was not coming out. And we all knew that $40 billion wasn't coming. But like I said, the great white hope. You understand what I'm saying? If one of us said it, it's like, oh my God, why would you say that? But here it is. You have that white man coming to you to say something, and you believe it. And you follow through with it, because we follow through with it. We were saying $40 billion up until last week. Until that budget came through.
And there was no 40 billion.
3.4.
Out of 40 billion.
40 billion. But we're going to get back to that post article, right?
Okay.
Because in that post article, it says NYCHA's property. NYCHA's property is gathered, all its property is around $7.1 billion. So in that article, it said that they would sell it. Now, if you're going to sell it, right? You're selling it to public-private partnerships. They're saying that RAD and PACT, this is the way we're supposed to be going. Now, I know $7.1 billion is a fugazi estimate, just like that $40 billion. They told us the process in which to bring NYCHA up to code is $40 billion. We took that number and we ran with it. And that's a BS number. It's bullshit. Okay? It is really bullshit. And why I say that? Because every development is in different conditions. Every development has different needs. Every development needs something. And we all know, how about the times when them other buildings who were built around the same time as NYCHA, they've been brought up to code. And it didn't cost that much to bring it up to code. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about the disinvestment. Let's talk about the $30 million that NYCHA gets a month from HUD. $30 million NYCHA gets a month from HUD. And they're only spending 6% a month. 6%, do the math. 6% of $30 million. What is that saying about that institution? Everybody wants to know where the money is. There is no transparency. Because you know what? Where's the money sitting? Who has access to that money? And I think the whole executives of NYCHA, all that board, all of that, they are very top heavy. They are very top heavy. We have people making six-figure salaries for a failing corporation, a failing authority. Why is it that their salaries are so substantial? Most of our money is going towards, and it's a percentage of our funding, is going towards salaries. And why are we consistently paying salaries to people who do not produce? Because I know anybody in any company, if you're not producing, you get fired. Nobody's fired. Nobody answers about the money. You only spending 6%, and you get $30 million a month. That's aside from the rents that you're collecting on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. So you add all of that up and you only spending 6%. Why is that? Because you lack the manpower to do the things that you do. Then you have these bullshit contractors who you hire at these exorbitant prices that do shabby work. That the real work never gets done. So it is a cycle that is a failed cycle that becomes redundant and repetitive. You go over and over and over again. When you break that down, that is a F. They failed. That is why public housing has failed. It's not because of the people. It's not because of the government. It is the lack of accountability. It is the lack of oversight. It is the lack of productivity. That's what it's boiled down to. It is a lack of
Consequences.
Say it again. What?
Consequences.
And what do consequences do?
But it's all across the board because there's no consequences on residents and there's no consequences on those people that work for NYCHA. They have no consequences of their actions.
Everybody
They keep
does
on
what they
getting
want.
They keep on getting away with doing what
But
they're
it
doing.
falls on the residents because we're the ones that are without. We're the ones that are lacking. But yeah, we're the ones who are always out there. Who is out there fighting for the money? Why do you think public housing get the money that they get? Who is on the grounds? Who is organizing? Who is going after the elected officials to put more money? And guess what? They do it at times. And then we see no production. Again, from the Cuomo administration, the money that went into NYCHA, where's that? Nobody could answer for that.
Nope.
Nobody could answer for that $2 billion.
Nope.
Nobody could say where it was spent because NYCHA doesn't spend money. NYCHA has two set of books, I do believe. NYCHA has a set of books that it reports, and NYCHA has the other set of books. They're like the mob.
They are.
You understand what I'm saying? They are like the mob. And that's how I feel. I feel at the end of the day, stop bending me over and stop giving it to me raw. And I can run it. I can run it. You can run it. Resident management is the way to go. Resident management is how we get up out of this. Resident management, understand what it is for you. And I keep saying it over and over again. So now getting back to the story again, the reporter goes on to say, because we blew up that $7.1 billion, because I could break it down to you, right? So they're saying the properties are worth $7.1 billion. They're selling it off. They want to sell off the buildings. They can't force you to leave. And then in the article, it says it wants to pay the resident $58,000 to move. First and foremost, as a private organization, I'm not going to buy something that I have to put more money than I invested in it to make a profit. Okay? So there go your 40 billion fugazi.
There's a resident that used to be a very long time resident of Washington who got transferred to Brooklyn. And she still stays in touch with my mom. And she said that she don't go to meetings. She lives in the developed somewhere in Brooklyn. She don't go to meetings. She don't participate. But this certain meeting, she wanted to go. She went and she didn't know the name of the program. She didn't know basic information. But they telling the residents they're going to relocate them.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to relocate them, redo their apartments, and then they're going to see if they can come back.
You know what that is called?
Yeah, they ain't coming back.
Disenfranchisement.
They ain't coming.
Like in
They ain't coming
nutshell.
back. That shit is
And then we
cold.
told her, oh, you should have never left Washington. But she said, oh, she liked it in Brooklyn. And she didn't.
I could tell you why she probably likes it in Brooklyn. Most of the Brooklyn housing authorities, they're a lot smaller. The apartments are a lot.
She's in a huge development.
They're a lot smaller, right? And some of them apartments are a lot bigger than ours.
Yeah.
You understand? NYCHA owns so much property. They own private. They still own land that's not even built on. They have land of homes that's been demolished that they had looked very much like the Bronx, now Ukraine, and brownstones.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what they were doing.
They also own homes, private homes, 2-family homes, single-family homes. They're the biggest realtors out here in New York State. NYCHA has its hands in lots of pockets. You understand? It's such a huge, that's why it's called an authority. Because it's such a huge entity.
They think they have authority.
It's such a huge entity that it's hard for you to dissect everything. One of the things that we're trying to get is the memorandum of understanding between the NYPD and NYCHA. So this is something that I want y'all out there to start asking about. The memorandums of understanding, MOU, of New York City Police Department and NYCHA, because according to them, trespassing and homeless sleeping in your hallways is not a crime. So we need to understand why. So that's just a little bug that I'm putting out there.
That's one thing I don't understand. And for those who do know me, I'm born and raised in Washington, so I know all my workers that work in the development. And we have one particular worker that he does the move outs. Why between us and Lexington House, there is over 30 apartments empty, but then we got so many homeless people in the street?
And why are the waiting list so long to get into public housing?
Why? Why is it
And
so
people
long?
need to understand, because we're going to get back on that $58,000 buyout, right? So they want to pay the residents $58,000 to move and leave public housing. Now, what I want y'all to understand, even if this was true, because again, this article was an opinion in the Post. The Post is the most... Okay, I'm going to just say that. They're in cahoots with NYCHA. NYCHA dictates to them what they want posted. And that article was put out there for us to be in disarray. That article was put out there for us to have conversations, not like the one that we're having here right now, but it was put out there so that we can be disenfranchised as our organizing has become so conclusive.
But I still want to know about this $58,000 thing.
So once they sell off your property, they want to pay you $58,000 to leave. That's to buy you out.
So they're giving people $58,000 to leave their apartment to go where?
No, they're not giving, but this is just what was stated in the article.
Okay.
They would give each resident, each household, $58,000 to move and leave.
Right.
To go rebuild somewhere else.
Right.
First and foremost, you got to pay out of that $58,000. You got to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
After you pay the taxes, let me tell you something.
You know what's funny about that? That's how you know your apartment is worth something.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Your building is worth something. Your property is worth something. Why would somebody give you $58,000, by the way, which is chump change, but okay. Why would someone give you $58,000 to leave if your shit was worthless?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
But you know, there's people out there who gonna take it, right?
Oh yeah, I know that.
It's a solid concrete. We just need plumbing and electricity done over. But the building, the structure is one strong structure. We can hold a lot. So they know what they got. They know.
Yeah.
We withstood
But I think people
Sandy.
don't. I think people don't.
They don't know the value of their property.
Yeah, of what
and
you're
when
living
you
in.
say their property, they don't believe that it's theirs. Because they always point it back at NYCHA. No, mama. No, papa. It's yours.
Where you live is where you at. Is what you own, whether you rent or not. It's your place. It's your environment.
You know what? You want me to leave? Give me back my 35 plus years in rent.
Right, there you go. And now we're talking.
And
Give me back my 35 plus
like
years
I
in
tell
rent.
them, they want me to move out. They're going to have to pay me like I'm a white woman because I got, as of March 19, I have 50 years to live in public housing. So I want all my and my mother's money back.
There you go.
I want my mother-in-law's money too.
We're talking millions.
Mine and my mother's.
Okay?
But you know what, though? That would kind of really be a respectable negotiating point. If they came like that and they said, you know what, here's what we're really going to do. And then they tallied that up and then said, okay, you know what, we'll give you 3/4 of that. Even 3/4 of that is an amazing figure. You know what I'm saying? But they're not
But
talking
they're
that
going
type
to make
of
us
thing.
millionaires?
That's kind of where you would end up.
God
Thank you.
forbid.
Yeah,
No, but
that's what I'm
listen,
saying.
listen, not even that. Give me the opportunity to apply all my 35, 50 years of rent towards buying the apartment.
Right, there you go. Let's do that.
That's what y'all want to do anyway. Let me add that because my apartment is already paid for.
Yeah.
So turn it into a cooperative and then we'll talk from there.
Yeah, and then let's go. Let's do something.
You understand what I'm saying? But I tell you one thing, it'll be a lot of people going for that 58.
You think so?
Absolutely. You know why? Because especially to our people who never had lump sum money.
Okay.
That seems like a lot of money. You understand what I'm saying? Because why do you think they have $1 in a dream and they go out there and play lotto?
Right, to get a lump sum.
To get a lump sum. They don't take the incremental payments.
Right, hell no.
They want lump sum.
Yeah, they're like, give me the nut. Give me the whole thing.
There you go. So that's why financial literacy is so important in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You also, didn't you have somebody, a kid that fell out of a window?
In the Bronx. unfortunately.
What? How old
A
was it?
6-year-old.
What development was that?
It was in the Bronx. Basically what happened was the window guards. There was no window guards in the window because you have to take the window guards out of your window when you place an AC.
Oh, right.
So he was on the 6th floor, 6-year-old kid. And you know that little spot, because the AC takes up only but so much space. And that folding part.
The folding part, yeah.
That you push out, it was broken. The accordion,
Yeah.
it was broken. He survived.
Thank God.
He survived.
Thank God.
But at the same time, he slipped through that little small portal.
Yeah, yeah.
So you guys have to be careful, especially with your babies. They find themselves into everything.
Sure, stuff you didn't even think about.
So he fell, but thank God he was in critical condition.
How many stories was it? Do you know?
6.
He fell 6
6
stories.
stories to the floor.
Damn.
It was like a 14, like one a tall stack like walls.
Yeah.
But yeah, he fell, and you know what? It's just amazing to me that, you know, these are the conditions in which we live in. Because my thing is this: why wasn't she able to pull that out of her window? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And even if that,
Because it's not the summertime.
thank
So that
you.
means it's been there all winter.
But I got a but in there, because my AC runs year round.
So does mine.
Because at the end of the day, you either have too much heat or no heat.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And then when you get flustered with that heat,
They act like you only got a thermostat. You know what I'm
thank you.
saying?
And then sometimes it could be 60 degrees outside,
And they
close
got
to
heat.
70, and then your heater come on.
Yep.
So you got windows open, you throw your fan on, you turn your air conditioner on. So it's a lot of things that go on in public housing, but that was one of the saddest things, you know, because when the babies are affected, we all are affected. You know what I mean? I will say we had an initiative, and that's what it brings it back. You understand what I'm saying? With the broken locks, the broken doors, the easy access to our buildings, you know, and I'm a strong advocate for Washington in general. And I always say that we're special. And when I say that, I really do mean that, because of where we're placed and how we're placed. We're in an open area. We're between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. And that's what I tell my kids all the time. Y'all are really silly to have beef, because they can come through any angle to come in, and they'll go just walk straight through the development from avenue to avenue if they wanted to get you. You can't really hide anywhere.
Nope.
But one of the major things, you know, that happened about 2 weeks, well, it was Thursday, not this Thursday, but last week Thursday, we did a walkthrough. And first it was a big meeting. It was all of my management staff, the neighborhood coordinators came out. We had DHS, we had Department of Homeless Services, we had NYPD, it was a bunch of organizations that we had SAVE, we had a bunch of organizations that work with the city. And we were talking and trying to come up with solutions towards keeping the homeless from out of our buildings. Because, and you know, it'll be sad because a lot of people could relate to this. In one of my buildings, there was a mattress put on the lobby in front of the elevators, and 3 homeless people made it their home for the weekend. They were sleeping on that mattress, which is only about 10 feet from the lobby door. And when they woke up and residents asked them to leave, one went out to go get coffee, came back, got the coffee. They were still laying on the mattress and eating potato chips and drinking coffee.
Wow.
And saying, where am I gonna go?
They got the best apartment. They got penthouses.
So they're living in our rooftops.
The penthouse.
They're living in our stairwells, and they're taking over our lobbies. And why I say Washington in particular is because we're by 3 train stations. We have the 96 in Lexington, we have 103rd in Lexington, and we have 96th Street and 2nd Avenue. So those are 3 train stations. And this is my biggest thing, because here you have a mayor who is pulling our PSA officers. It is mandatory for them to do, every single person in every PSA department of police, to do subway service. Meaning they leave the precinct, they leave wherever they are to go do one day inside the train stations to remove the homeless people. Now we know all of this has been exacerbated because of COVID. Where do you think these people are going?
That's what I wanted to know.
To our developments, because there is no penalization for it.
So they're not even taking
When
them
the
like to a
cops-
shelter or...
No, they offer them, and that's another thing. They have a right to refuse services.
Okay. That's
If
true.
they come and they find them in your development, and this is why I say we need to get the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between the NYPD and NYCHA. Because NYCHA will tell you it's not their job to remove the homeless. It's not their responsibility. It's NYPD. And NYPD will tell you, well, we come there. If we see them, we can't arrest them. And listen, their hands are tied too. Because even if they become belligerent and they do arrest them for trespassing, right? The person is so demented in their head, right? That they'll go through the system, and once they're released, where do you think they go back to? The place they feel safe.
Sure.
And this is what I told. This is what was said at that meeting. You understand? Also, it's brought up that if you get rid of the drug dealers and the drug activity, it's a proven fact. You understand? Instead of having shoot-up centers, let's address this, because the city doesn't have a real response to the homelessness that's going on.
Right.
You understand? And it's a reason why they don't want to go to the shelter, because it was explained to me that the shelters are just like going on Rikers.
Right. Yeah, it's not
Because you
safe.
got the big homie
not
when
a
you
safe
come
place.
in there. You understand what I'm saying? So they have to do better. They were not equipped to deal with the mental illness, the drug addiction, and the homelessness. They're not equipped to deal with that.
Right.
Especially not on the level that it's happened. Like, I watch MSNBC every Saturday. Tiffany Cross, the Cross Connection. I love her. Like, oh my God, I love her hair. I love her outfits. I love her conversation. Like, I must just say, like, I love Black Girl Magic. Okay? If you really want like a nice plug in the morning while you cleaning or whatever on a Saturday, you listen to Tiffany Cross, okay, on MSNBC, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. But at the end of the day, they're not equipped to deal with the homelessness. And if you're not going to deal with it on a holistic level, you have to get rid of the drugs. If you're not going after the drug dealers, yeah, and y'all hear me saying that, because I don't agree with that, okay? You have seniors. Like, every NYCHA development right now is a senior development. We have dedicated senior developments, but every NYCHA development is a senior development. Why? Because we have many people who have retired. How often does the apartment roll over? Only if the person dies.
Yeah.
So it means people have been living in there for decades. They're retired now. You have these young kids who have no respect, or they're their grandkids or their great-grandkids who have taken over their apartments, and all they know, they stay inside because they want to be safe. You understand what I'm saying? So every NYCHA development is a senior development. You cannot just say that, just senior developments. And I get it, because we do have specified senior developments and offer special services and special accommodations. But that's another way that they're not addressing the problem in the Black and brown communities. Because you have how would you say? When I say stable, I mean like herded cattle in particular housing that you haven't prepared for. So you have to address this on a holistic level. You have to get rid of the drugs, because it's a known fact that if I could cut my drugs here and I get high right in the same place, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Yeah, it's logical.
You understand what I'm saying? So again, you have to get rid of the drugs. You have to address the mental illness. You understand what I'm saying? Because how can you see that somebody is mentally ill and have them refuse services? It has to be taken a step further.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking about criminalization. And secondly, you got to do better with your shelters. Because if you see them people where they were in Tompkins Square Park, right? It was the homeless people out there protesting against the police who've been out here taking away their encampments. They'd rather be in those outdoor encampments instead of going to a shelter. Why is that?
Because it's safe.
Exactly. Why is that? You have to create safe spaces for people. You have to remember these are people. And again, this is black, brown, and minority people. If you look at the statistics of remember, a lot of NYCHA residents, they have yet to still have their applications approved for ERAP. Those of you who don't know what ERAP is, it's the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, where you got that program, you got into that program and they paid all your back rent. Not a single NYCHA resident has received it. None. They said we didn't qualify because we live in subsidized housing already.
Oh, shit.
So understand me when I say we have to address this on a holistic level. Because you have to make those shelters better. You have to stop criminalizing and start humanizing the mental illness. Because we all are in a state of shock going through COVID. We all have our own mental things going on in our head. So you have to address it on a holistic level. You have to have every service. And I don't even want service. I want change. I want something solid. And if you look at it, those people who were protesting in Tompkins Square Park, what they said, we don't want temporary housing, we want permanent housing. What are people in NYCHA saying? We're tired of living like dogs. Mm-hmm. We're tired of living like dogs. We want to live like human beings.
But I need something to understand it. Basically, what the mayor's doing, I call it ping ponging. He's taking the homeless people and he's ping ponging them up, because how are you gonna take them out of there and wherever they're staying at and putting them where?
Right.
You taking them and putting them where?
NYCHA.
But like I said, NYCHA has apartments that are. I can understand that he first takes lots and makes them low income.
Take
housing.
them hotels. They love being in them hotels.
Don't put them in a hotel. Why don't you first put the first step in revamping fix these NYCHA apartments that are empty, and then go get some new buildings, and then take them off the street, because you're taking them off the street and putting them where? He's not making sense of what he's doing. He's ping-ponging them.
Yep.
Get it first. Put your first step into serving the situation is there's plenty of NYCHA available apartments. Get them up to
it's
par.
Not enough NYCHA apartments to fulfill the need.
But
I understand what you're saying. I mean, like 30 apartments to thousands. If you look at the statistics, 38. Okay, we're gonna go to the evictions because the moratorium's over. 38% of black women have been evicted. 32% of black men have been evicted from their apartments. Where's my phone? Okay? And that's why I listen to Tiffany, because they had some advice to y'all. Because these landlords, you know what? They just want the new renters to come in. And black women are being evicted at higher rates than ever across the board than any other ethnicity. So at the end of the day, what they're telling you to do is they want you to stay in the apartment and try to find services. Don't leave. Don't leave. Because a lot of the times, because these are some of your options. If your eviction suit has not yet been filed, talk to your landlord about a payment plan and document everything. Secondly, try and find some rental assistance at the consumerfinance.gov. Okay? And it says to learn your local tenants' rights. And this is information if your suit has been filed. If you can, hire an attorney and learn the specifics of your case. Try to resolve it and stay in the home. If the court evicts you, find emergency rental assistance at consumerfinance.gov and research tenant screening laws to protect your record. Because you got to remember, this goes on your record when you get evicted.
Get evicted, yeah.
So consumerfinance.gov. If you find yourself in these situations, go to these websites to find some sort of help. Because even with the ERAP and all these rental assistance programs, first of all, it's always hard to find the applications. Once you get the applications, there's so many hoops that you got to go through after you filled out.
It's hard to fill them out because it's really hard, and then you try to get back on it, and it'll allow you to get back. Then they give you a code. It's a process.
A tedious process.
Very tedious process.
Okay.
So it's designed to discourage you, basically.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that's just like anything that they give to you. Like, you know, when I see black Republicans, I could understand the conservatorship of it all. You know, not wanting the government to pay for services and stuff like that. I get it about the equity and stuff like that. I get it. But these people, white people, will never accept you. They will never accept you. And for as much as we want to say that, you know, racism is over, look at what they're doing.
Racism will never be over.
They're stripping a lot. Look at stupid. No, that's not a nice word. But look at these elected officials who represent the states. They are saying that, you know, they're repealing gay rights when they're saying you can't say gay from kindergarten to 12th grade. They're saying that they already pulled back your abortion rights. It's illegal in some states right now to have abortion. In states, they're saying that we don't care how many black people are populated in our state. This is the only place that voter suppression. This is the only place that we're gonna count the votes. So certain black counties are just, whether you vote or not, your votes are gonna be thrown in the garbage.
Which is sort of very interesting when you talk about laws, right? And gays, right? Because there was a thing that happened, and then you also have to talk about the Black Lives Matter mansion, by the way.
Oh yes, thank you.
You definitely have to talk about that. But just sort of in where you're at, there was a coach that actually would kneel down and pray before the game, right? And they fired him because he would kneel down and pray before the game.
What's wrong with that?
Exactly. So
they took prayer out to schools.
And this guy was just, all right, you know what, we're about to play football, I'm gonna pray. And then the team started doing it. And then what struck me, which was really crazy, is the guy that was complaining about it, that was on the news at the time, he was gay, right? And I'm like, hold on for 1 second. And he's like, this is an indoctrination into the religion. I said, but hold on. You have transgender teachers now. You have openly gay teachers that teach our kids, right? And you don't feel that that's an indoctrination? You know what I'm saying? Through that action of how they dressed. How they dress. I was like, I didn't really get that. You know, now I don't think you should be fired because you're a transgender teacher or that you're a gay teacher or whatever. But I also think that you shouldn't be fired because you're practicing your religion. That shit is bullshit to me. You know what I'm saying?
All day long.
If I take a knee and I'm going to pray to whoever I'm praying to, then that is that's my right as a citizen of the United States, by the way, because the whole Constitution was built on freedom of religion.
Exactly.
Right? and they fired the guy, and then the gay guy, he's this shouldn't be allowed. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you guys just got rights recently. Right, that we fought for transgender bathrooms and the LGBTQ and all this stuff, and then now you're turning around, and then you're taking the rights away from people to pray and other rights from regular. Like, what kind of shit is that?
That make no sense.
You know what I'm saying?
It only applies to me when I want it to apply to me.
Right.
Other than that, it's saying, excuse me, fuck the rest.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's about and not even the haves and the have-nots. It's about the minority, again,
mm-hmm.
who wants to rule the majority. Because within the next decade, the white race will be the minority.
Absolutely.
And that's what the big fright is about.
And also,
they're afraid.
Here's first of all, it's true. Like, I've seen the white race eradicated. You know what I'm saying? There are places on the planet, right, where everybody is mixed, right? One particular place called Reunion Island, which is off the coast of Madagascar. I was there. And originally, it was the natives and the French, white French people. They were there, right? Over the decades, over hundreds of years, they all started intermingling and becoming, one people. And so when you go there, there's no white people. There's no white people. They've all been absorbed, right? You'll see light skin.
Like going to Africa.
Right, yeah. You'll see light skin. And then you'll see white traits in people with dark skin. Like, you'll see a black person with blue eyes and straight hair. Like, you'll see this whole mix. But guess what? The thing that they're afraid of is true. You know what I'm saying? Like, if white people continue to intermingle with people of color, yes, you're going to lose your identity 100%. And
they know that it's gone. They know they can't stop it.
Yeah, you can't stop it.
But they still trying to hold on.
100%.
Because if you look at we're going back to the 50s with a lot of these laws. Like, they are ridiculous. And when are people going to get tired? That's why it's so important. You have to vote. You have to vote, and you have to listen. A lot of us come out wanting something, right? And it's on the side of right. Right?
I agree.
And when you look at it, right? Because let's take this Black Lives Matter situation.
That shit's crazy.
Right now, they haven't filed taxes for 2020 or 2021. Right? They're a not-for-profit program, right? They were in the streets. They're like one of the biggest black movements. They are even recognized. And that's the thing even with NYCHA. And that's why I said we need to organize ourselves. We don't need nobody to organize us. We are our own organizations through your resident councils, okay? Let's strip away and step away from wanting to be a part of a group. Let's step away from wanting to be a part of this and a part of that. And that's just us. And I think it's built into us because of slavery, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be a part of. Something. Why is it that when you look at it, right, we were fighting for our rights, right? And rightfully so. Mm-hmm. But what was wrong where it went wrong, and that's why they destroyed Tulsa. That's why they destroyed all the black movements as such. You know why? Because it's nothing wrong with just being black. And that meant we didn't want to be a part of white society. You understand what I'm saying? Which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Take it to the Will Smith thing and the Oscars. The Oscars are not for us as a black people. Yeah, you might call it ghetto or whatever. We got our Source Awards. We got the MTV Awards. We have all these other award shows. And it's not with ED prestige. Awards, and it's not held to the same prestige as the Oscars. You understand what I'm saying? With the Black Lives Matter movement, they haven't filed taxes. And what happened was they took that money. They took $6.1 million to purchase a mansion that they are living in. Okay, 3 of the head people that run that organization, and you got to understand when you at the head of an organization, and you have other organizations in your name, So basically what they did, because, you know, Patrice, who is one of the Black Lives Matters, she practically like started it, right? Mm-hmm. She has other corporations that she created. So now your other corporations are intermingling, which are for-profit. You have your for-profit corporations mixing with your non-profit corporation, and money was going more towards your non-profit that you were filtering through your for-profit organizations. So basically, you took that money and you bought a $6.1 million home. It's a couple of homes that y'all bought. You understand what I'm saying? Off of the backs of black people. And donated. And
died, for that matter.
And then it becomes a form of exploitation. You understand? To the point where there's an article out there, you understand what I'm saying, where it's talking about they bought this $6.1 billion home, and they said it was for broadcasting. It was for when we were out there and we didn't feel safe in our neighborhoods. So you're trying to say this mansion is more of an institution. So it's more like a office space / home instead of just a home. Bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? You have to answer for that. So now they hired a lawyer because, you know, the IRS, they don't play.
Yep. You don't mess with
the IRS, they don't play. So now they hired a lawyer. They're saying everything is on the up and up. But what really disturbed me about that article is one of her cohorts got on there and she was clearly stated, because you can find it on YouTube, where she said, I don't have to answer to nobody. Because it's not for me to answer to anyone but who I'm beholden to. Well, no, boo-boo. Let me explain this to you. You're beholden to the people. Why you're beholden to the people? And you're especially beholden to the people of the parents upon who you guys collected money on. They made close to $1 billion in donations.
A lot of famous people donated.
To the point where the families in which they were putting the faces that they were putting in front of the country for us to donate for, where they had to tell them, take me off of your page, because this was supposed to be helping the people who lost their children. And a lot of them were even themselves facing eviction because of this COVID thing. And they couldn't get a dime from them. And it also states in the article where if you go on the Black Lives Matter movement page, they have taken down their donation link. They do not even ask for donations anymore because they have to take it down because they are under investigation.
I just would like to say something. I think that we're, in terms of your activism, and I appreciate your activism, I'm going to have to say this, frankly. I think you're an underachiever. Tamika Mallory.
Yes.
Her net worth is between $500,000 to $5 million. That includes her assets, money, and income. Her primary source of income is her career as an activist. Mm-hmm. She's worth almost $5 million.
Damn, so
on the high side. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
Listen, we not cheating and we don't ask for money.
That's
our problem. You know what? That's some of our problem. We too proud to beg.
We underachieving. We're underachieving here. I think we have to.
Didn't I say that to you though?
We're going to have to go on and take on a different model here, right?
Exactly.
If Black Lives Matter can buy a mansion for $6.1 million, like hitting fucking lotto.
We sure could.
Tamika's rocking and shocking for anywhere between $500,000 and $5 million. I think we're underachieving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading that article and I was like, whoa, what am I doing wrong?
Because she popped up the other, because we'll put that on the radar, and she popped up the other day someplace, and she had the latest designer shit on and handbags and all that. And someone, brought that to my attention. They're like, she's way different than she was when she started. You know what I'm saying? When she started, she was in the streets and the Black Power.
She hustled that money.
Yeah, I remember they had a tour bus, and it was a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. They was going around on tour, doing these speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm. And they got paid for them.
And you know what? And she's accumulated a nice little piece of change. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not hating it. I ain't hating on it. Nope. I'm just saying I think we need to follow a different
And that's what I was talking
Business
about.
models. Yeah, there you go. That's
exactly
right.
what I was talking about. Because at the end of the day, you want this acceptance, and you're going and you're looking for it, and you're not wrong for looking for it, but not realizing, especially with this public housing fight, we are our own organizers. We have our own organizations. That's why they're called tenant associations, resident councils, resident associations, whatever you want to call yourself. Because again, we have to get incorporated.
Right, absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? And once you're incorporated, you're a business. So you have to start acting like a business. And a lot of us are so used to just being activists that we don't understand the business part of it. And that's where the financial literacy comes in, aspect comes in. Because guess what? You have these outside organizations who know about the financial literacy, because at the same time, membership costs money. To even be associated with these organizations, you have to pay a membership fee. You understand what I'm saying? And the more active you are, the more money they get from you.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's sort of like extortion. It's sort of like the Get Along Gang. Like, in order to be down with me, you gotta pay me.
Right. Listen, if I accumulated $5 million in donations, you better believe my name is plastered all over Nitro for shit. You're like, Rock did this, Rock sponsored that, Rock did this, Rock did that. Like, that's what that would be, because that would seem like that'd be the right thing to do.
Your salary.
Right. There you go.
And it's no set salary for what you can pay yourself.
Right. That's right.
You
You'd be
understand
like, you know
what I'm saying?
I need $4 million, and I'll give $1 million back. Like, you can naturally do that, which is actually crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you're collecting donations, you're supposed to be doing shit for the people.
That's right. And you put a target on your back. But you know what? That's what happens. You lose sight of why you started. Because for them to even post that video to say like, oh, we don't have to answer to people. Hello, excuse me. You do.
Because you gave
Because
people
it
gave
is
you
a
money.
non-for-profit. Non-for-profit means it belongs to the people. If you kept that on your for-profit, and then you had nerve not to even put it on your taxes. Matter of fact, you haven't even filed taxes for 2 years, which when you start a nonprofit, they give you up to 3 years to file your taxes. But that's only if you haven't acquired a certain amount of income. So again, you're in violation, boo. At the end of the day, that's why, don't be so quick to like embrace these organizations, because it's a lot of people that come out here and they want to organize with you, but you're doing the work and they're getting paid for it. Because if you look at it, all these organizations that organize NYCHA residents, they get salaries for coming out there, while they're expecting you to show up when they tell you to show. Oh, we're going to City Hall, I need you to show up. That's their job. Their job is to get you to show up. And because you're passionate about wanting change in your community, when we should be doing that through our own resident councils. And if you're incorporated, you can pay yourself. You can pay yourself. You can pay everybody who's out there doing that marching. And that's what, again, we have to get financially literate about that. And you know what? Don't feel bad about it. A lot of people go, oh no, I don't want to get paid because, I don't want to hear this. You know what? My time is worth money. And that's what I'm telling y'all. I'm tired of doing this work for free. So I no longer will be doing this work for free unless I want to. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. But on a lighter note, I posted another article on Mi Gente. It was a rapper from DC who passed away. He was violently killed. And basically his mom, his family got the morgue to get his body shipped to a club, and they charged people $40 entry fee, where his body was on stage next to the DJ booth.
Just standing there.
Just standing there like he was alive.
But they do that in Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
In Puerto Rico, there's a man that was, his funeral position, he was on his motorcycle. There's been another guy that he's sitting in the corner with his sunglasses, his leg folded. There was an older lady that she was sitting on her porch. Mm-hmm. And there was another lady I saw that she was there playing her cards.
It depends on the culture. I just want to thank that family because, a lot of people were appalled by this. A lot of people were in shock. Now, everybody grieves differently. And I always said, you know, when I pass away, I want to be celebrated. I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I don't want nobody really crying. I mean, if you shed some tears, yeah, I appreciate you, but have fun, enjoy my life, because my life is very filled and my life is very influential, I like to think. You know, I want to party, and this is the kind of party I want. You understand what I'm saying? I want to party. I want to be, don't put me in a coffin laying down. I want to be in a glass box. Yes, like taxidermy. You're going to put me in a glass box. I want to be standing up. And I want y'all to party around me. I want a strobe light. I want all of that. You understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, one of my favorite artists is Cardi. You're going to play When It's Up, It's Up. You understand what I'm saying? Then I like, if I could get animation to it, like, you know how my girl does, I want my hand wave. And in certain parts, I want to laugh like, ha ha, have my tongue sticking out. You understand what I'm saying? It might be kind of creepy, but you know what? I told my kids this.
It would be a little creepy, but okay.
Why would it be creepy?
She want to be a Cardi B.
You're dead and
wanna
your
be
tongue is sticking out going, ha ha. That's kind of wild, I'm just saying.
Listen, you get the sound effect too. Stop playing.
I love it.
Yes, you gotta love it.
Have a little speaker in your mouth.
It's pre-recorded. All of that would be pre-recorded. You understand? But like, maybe the tongue is an extra. But I want my hand to wave like I'm bopping to the music. You understand what I'm saying? You get some rope. Matter of fact, you could put a robot in my arm. Then I won't feel it. You understand what I'm saying? So you get the wave going.
That is true.
Yeah. Yes, you get a robotic arm. Yes. See. Look, see, the
Shit's
more
coming together for you.
Yes, it definitely is. And that's just my sixth sense of humor. And those of you who know me, y'all know that I love to laugh. Like, I always try to make people around me laugh, because that's the only thing we can control in this life, are our laughs and our cries. And I don't like to cry. You understand what I'm saying? But hopefully I still have friends by the end of this pregnancy, because even my family get it, y'all. Like, if you see me grumpy, listen.
That's an email to Grumpy.
Listen, but you gotta understand, like, even my mom, I gotta apologize to her
Publicly, right now.
I am so sorry. So my mom is traveling, y'all, and she calls me last night. And I looked at the phone, and you know how you look at the phone and you see, and I seen where it was from, and I knew it was who it was. So I just let it ring out, and I just turned my head and went back to sleep. But then, like 5 minutes later, it's ringing again, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pick it up. I said, something's wrong. So I go, hello? And she go, hi, how you doing? I said, Ma, you know you just woke me up, right? She was like, no. She was like, but you always. I said, no, I'm not always up. So then she gets mad at me, and we always go through this, and it's so funny. So she gets mad at me. Okay. I was like, Ma, is everything okay? Yeah. Are you fine? Is anything going on? She's like, yeah. She's like, but you didn't have to talk to me like that. And she hangs up the phone on me. So, but it's just like, you know, with this pregnancy, I'm very moody, and insomnia is very real, because even after that phone call, I had tried so hard to go to sleep, and I was in a good sleep, and only because she called the second time I picked it up, because I really thought something was wrong. And you know she's traveling. I'm like, wait a minute now, like, I don't need no bad news, but let me pick up the phone. It gotta be an emergency. Only to hear her voice, I know. And you know what, I really apologize for that. But then I tried calling her back and she ain't pick up. So I know she's upset with me. But Ma, I'm letting you know, after that phone call and disturbance, I couldn't fall asleep till 4 o'clock this morning. So I was up for 4 hours. I spent 2 hours looking up at the ceiling in the dark, because they said if you just sit in the dark, you're going to fall back asleep. That didn't work. I literally had to turn on the TV and put on trash TV, like the most boringest show ever. Like, I can't even remember what I was watching. That's how boring it was, that until I fell asleep. And this is like my routine though. And then I woke up today, right? And I'm doing a little better. So I even washed my hair before I came. Look, I washed my hair for y'all and everything. I told you water works. So, it's like I've been wearing bulky clothes. So I had this shirt on with my pants, and I go in my son's room for something. And he go, "Whoa, Ma." He said, "You're really pregnant." I said, "Really pregnant?" I was like, "You just know." He said, "Nah, Ma, you sticking out now." He said, "It's real." And I'm like, okay, whatever. I was like, "I don't like you right now." And he was like, "But why?" "Because I just don't like your face." So then here I go. I continue getting ready or whatever. So then I go in my living room and my two oldest daughters are sitting there. And they see me. And then my oldest daughter, she starts laughing. And I'm like, "What you laughing at?" She was like, "Nothing, Ma." And then she just like is cracking up. And I'm like, now I'm getting angry. Because I'm like, "What are you laughing at? You looking at me? I'm a joke? Is something wrong with me?" I'm very vain too. So I'm like, "What's going on?" And I'm looking at myself. She was like, "No, you're really pregnant." So today was the day that my kids actually realized that I was pregnant. And I just can't understand it because in my head, and then they tell me, "What are we having?" And I say, "I don't know." "Well, Ma, you got to find out." And I'm like, "No, I don't have to find out." I was like, before sonograms and all of that, you just were pregnant and you would pop the baby out and it's like surprise. "No, Mother, you have to know what it is because we have to start planning. We have to know where we're going to put the baby. We have to know all the..." And they, talking to me like I'm the child and they the adult. And sometimes it is like that. But the whole time she's just laughing at me because of my face. So then I told her I don't like her right now. And I looked at my 17-year-old. I said, "I only like you." And then she was like, "But Ma, why you ice grilling her like that?" And I said, "Do you want to be on my I don't like list today?" So then they both start cracking up at me. It's not funny. Look, Ada laugh at me all the time. You understand what I'm saying?
Because when they come to the office or I'm around them, that's exactly what they complain about.
Listen.
So they want to know. They want to get ready.
But I don't want to know. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need another period in my house. Okay? I have 3 girls, 1 boy. I'm happy. This is the surprise. You understand what I'm saying? Even to be the age I am and to be going through it at this age, it's like all new to me. But I want everything to be a surprise. But I see, and then everywhere I go, everybody's asking me, "What are you having?" Like a healthy baby.
But it doesn't mean it's not like you can stick it back in. If it's a girl, you can stick it back in until it's a boy.
If it's a girl, I'm not giving birth till I'm 18, till she's 18.
Well, you got
okay, I'm gonna be on Guinness. My belly's gonna be from here to the corner. Okay, I'm gonna be on the Guinness Book of Records because, like I said, she gonna come out as an adult.
Gotta deal with it.
Like for real.
You gotta deal
Coming out as a 21-year-old.
Girl,
there you go. At least I said 18. That way I know they listen. She gonna be homeschooled. She's gonna be listen. You talk about sheltered for life. You understand what I'm saying?
You gotta give it to the kids. They want to know because they want to prepare themselves.
I've decided. I've already had like 4 sonograms and a because when you're over the age of 30, like really, it starts at 32. So when you're in 35, it's legit. They call it a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah.
So basically, and that's insulting.
So how old are you?
I am 45. Thank you. And I don't even say my age, but yes. I'm 4'5", yes. And the eggs are still jumping, and I ain't do no in vitro. I didn't do none of that. God just blessed me.
You kind of
in my family, and that goes back to my mother. Because if she would have gave me this advice earlier, I would have did a whole lot more. Because, I had the IUD for a very long time, and then when it was time to come out, I was like, well, I'm over the hill. Ain't going to happen no more. But unfortunately, yeah, it still can happen. Because my grandmother now had her last baby. Because my grandmother had 12. God bless her soul. And God bless Mommy. Because I'm one of the few people, and I realize that, and I appreciate y'all. Because a lot of my friends don't have their mother and their father still alive.
That is correct.
So, I tend to be like spoiled at times, and I act like a kid. And I am appreciative that I have that opportunity, especially this late in age.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? But getting back to what mommy, so then mommy goes, when I told her, she was like, no. I said, Mom, but this is like unbelievable. She said, no, baby. She said, you forget? She said, Grandma had her last one at 55. I said 55, so you know, yeah. So after this one, yeah, they getting burnt. If I'd have known that, yo, let me tell you something. If I'd have known that, I'd have been selling my eggs.
Yeah, you could have been doing some
Like,
shit.
for real.
But it runs on both sides of the family because her husband's grandfather had kids before he died.
You
So
like,
you know
he had kids
both-
yesterday. He had kids yesterday.
She knew it was going to happen.
Listen.
Jesus H. Christ.
Listen, but if I'd have known that 55, I'm thinking like grandma was like, you know, maybe I didn't even think about grandma, but you know, God bless her. May she rest in peace. But yeah, her grandbaby over here, and then you know, my grandmother had 9 girls, so that's why my mom telling me, she said, you know, don't be upset. It's gonna be another girl.
And she
I'm
hung
like,
up the
no.
phone on her when she said,
Yeah, that wasn't what you wanted.
No,
to
no, no.
Yes,
I
she
did
did.
not hang up. I just said, Ma, I gotta go. You understand what I'm saying? But it's not that I'm gonna be upset.
It was a respectable hang up.
Like, one of the reasons I have so many children is because I wanted all boys. I wanted like a whole baseball, basketball team. You know how cool that is to, like, I have a friend that have all boys, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool because you're the only queen in the house. You understand? But nah, I mean, like, with the girls, you got to share everything. I don't mind sharing, but sometimes they do in excess. You understand what I'm saying? But this baby belongs to everybody in the 68th. And when I say that, I don't mean y'all created that. I did this, you know, and hubby did that. But this baby, you know, is gonna be out there because I'm politically involved. I'm involved because being in NYCHA, they like to say NYCHA isn't political, but it definitely is. NYCHA is definitely political. And one of the things I learned, and I know I'm all over the place, is that due to, and it goes back to knowing when to vote, knowing how to vote, and knowing your vote. I'm kind of confused, right? Because the redistricting happened for the state and the Congress. So the senator and the Congress, that redistricting happened for that. So now it comes that in my development, I have
that's going to be so
2
confusing.
congressmen, and I'm not pretty sure who my senator is right now. Because, yes, on the Board of Elections, usually they have a map that tells you who your senator is, but Harlem gained an extra senator. So I don't know how the line is drawn for that or who my senator's going to be.
According to what it was explained to me, is out of the 14 buildings, the last 3 buildings in
Not
section
3, 4.
3, or the last 4 buildings in section 3. I mean, in the last section is gonna be 1, and then the other ones. Why they
Yes.
just couldn't wrap it around and then make that? No, it don't make no sense.
But
Lord.
that's why it's important. But you know what? If I gained a senator, or you understand what I'm saying? I know I gained a congressperson, Carolyn Maloney. I need to develop a relationship with her. And shout out to one of the best congressmen out there, Espaillat.
Yes.
Adriano Espaillat.
That is my
Let me he is one of the few during women's history that acknowledged NYCHA presidents for the work that they've been doing, for the work that they've done, and for staying the process all through the pandemic. He was one of the few, and let me tell you, I'm not biased because he's Dominican and I love my Dominican peoples. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, I got a personal attachment to him because when my youngest daughter now was going through what she was going through, that man was the first one on the phone. You understand what I'm saying? It's people that were there for me, like Tamika Mapp. I would say Teresa Richardson. I would say Beverly McFarland. I would say Miss Esther. I would say it's a lot of people. Diana Ayala. You understand what I'm saying? These are people who carried me when I was going through one of my lowest points in life. But he was one of the first people to pick that phone up. I mean, I was still in the hospital going through triage with her. And he was like, are you okay? What's going on? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm talking about this, your congressman. So, you know, I mean, like, when I look and I reflect back on it, my community holds me down. You understand? The outpour of love that I received during, like, my lowest point. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of them stayed the course. It wasn't just that one time. It just wasn't that second 2 times or 3 times. It was like an ongoing thing. You understand what I'm saying? People came. You understand what I'm saying? Tamika came and she bought me dinner a couple of times. Like, I know you up in here, like I'm here for you. Do you need a ride? I know, you understand what I'm saying? And of course, Carmen, you know what I'm saying? Like, mi madre, she's like my second mother. You understand what I'm saying? She helped me down. Like, a lot of people, that's why I love my district. I love my people in my district, and I'ma always fight for y'all. And that's why we here, and that's why we mi gente. Whether you Hispanic or not, if you in the 68, you Spanish. Okay? I don't care if you don't think you Spanish. Okay? Because at the end of the day, that's what you are, my people. You are my people, and we love hard, we fight hard, and I don't care, you know, what's going on. We love each other because we can always put our differences to the side and come together when we need to. And that's what I'm very appreciative of. And that's the love that my community has given to me. And that's why I stay in my community. That's why I fight for my community. And that's why I'm here for my community. I love y'all.
Okay. You've done an hour and a half today. Almost 2. I love it.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the slap. See, we did good. Let's.
Oh, we can talk about the slap.
Y'all don't want me because I got lots to say about Miss Jada Pickett.
Well,
I have a lot because I think she had a lot to do with what happened. A lot.
It's a lot.
She instigated it.
Of course she did.
And regardless if she said she didn't instigate it, because, okay, you my witness. You and Albert been together how long?
We've been together 31 years.
And how long Will and Jada's been together?
20-something.
25.
Okay, 25. So you're going to tell me that you ain't going to know your husband's reactions. You ain't going to know what your husband... You can finish your husband's sentences, can you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've been there 25 years. You gonna, before Will...
He can't do mine, so he don't know what be in my head.
Before Will's butt ever left his seat, she should have grabbed him. She should have stopped him. He would have got to that stage dragging her. But she didn't do it. She just sat back and let it roll with it. Because she started it.
That's something that he you know, a lot of men. We talk about women abuse. A lot of men get abused.
Yep.
And because they're men,
they're embarrassed.
it's very. If y'all really want to know about an abuse story, a lot of y'all don't know about Lionel Richie. He was one of the first men that I know of to come out about being abused.
Really?
Yeah, the Lionel Richie.
I didn't know he was abused.
Listen.
I missed that program.
He's such a sweetheart. You said
He is. And, you know, I did a domestic violence thing in college. And we always talk about the women. But there's a lot of men out there who are abused.
Yeah.
And it's harder for them. And I believe Will is one of those people who is so used to abuse that it becomes normal.
But he was raised in it because his father used to abuse his mother.
It becomes normal. And Chris Rock was abused. He talks about it very openly. He was bullied. But you saw the man in him come out when that smack happened. Because he balled his fist up and he was ready to fly and he caught himself. And I want to give him a special shout out because that could have went all the way left.
It could have been a ball in that stage, and he just.
You're a better man than me.
I don't even care if y'all want to call him a punk or whatever.
No, he did the right thing.
Because I know even a punk wouldn't have took that smack like that.
Hell no.
Because when hubby was looking at me, he was like, well, what do you expect him to? I said, you know what? You know what a punk does? Let me tell you something. When Will Smith turned around, I'd have picked my foot up, kicked him so hard, he would have fell spread eagle on the stage, and I would have ran to the back.
Correct, Mundo.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'd have got my shit off.
And he said,
listen, but you see, he showed us. He was showing us something. Chris Rock was showing us something. I don't even want to talk about the will because we could go on and on about that.
After the show, because Wanda, sorry for mispronouncing her name.
Wanda Sykes?
Yeah, she was. After the show was all said and done, in the after party, Chris Rock went up to her and apologized to her. Because he told her this was supposed to have been your night. You were supposed to shine and we took that away from you. And I feel so sorry for it.
He didn't do anything.
He stood and he took blame for something that had nothing to do with it.
He's
apologizing for something that he had nothing to do with it.
You know what?
He's being a perfect gentleman.
That was the perfect example of being the bigger person.
Yep.
Being the bigger person sucks at times.
Sorry, I'm small.
Listen.
Person.
It took so much for him not to react. It really did. It took so much for him. And I'm very appreciative of that because he showed that, you know what? We are all not animals. Because you damn well know them people at the Oscars was like, look, we brought the most civilized one out here and look how they act. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
They was worried about Kanye West.
Thank you. But yeah, shout out to Chris Rock because he kept his composure and
like
he still has yet to really comment about it. People are trying to egg him to comment. Leave that man be. Leave that man be. He gonna come out like how I picture it. He gonna make a whole skit about what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened
His
and what
speaking
did.
about it more than what he is.
Well, you know what? I'll be mad too if it was my brother. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't want to put no shine on the Smiths because they don't deserve it. They do not deserve it. I don't care what your life work was. You took it upon yourself and you did something to desecrate that. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, my light will be shined on Chris Rock. And I applaud him for being the bigger person. I wish that more people would show that exemplary consciousness to stay in the moment, because he could have blacked out.
He could have taken real quick.
You know, he showed what black excellence is, and that's what he did. So we applaud that. That's what black excellence is. Not stooping to the other person's level. Because, yeah, he could have got his stuff off. And then what? It'd have just been nasty. It would have destroyed the whole night in its entirety. So they both would have been holding that bag. He's like, nah, nigga. You did that. You hold that. Because there's other ways. Believe you me. He believes in a higher power.
You better believe that.
He believes in a higher power. And I thank God that God was with him during that moment. Because let me tell you something. Will Smith has not seen the end or begun to feel what's going to happen behind his actions. Mm-hmm. When he going to find out about it later on, because right now everybody's still on it. But he who laughs last laughs the best. My boy's gonna come out maybe a year from now, maybe 2 years from now. Maybe he might not. But I believe my boy Chris Rock is gonna come out with the funniest, most hilarious skit of that happening in life. Because, you know, like with me, I'm one of those people, if we have a falling out, I'm not gonna talk to you. We got beef forever. Okay? I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? We can be in the same room and we could be civil to each other, but I'm not gonna be phony. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I pray to be a better person. Cause before it'll be on sight. Like every time I see you, I'm on fight. You know? But through age, education, and knowledge, I've learned to be the bigger person. So that's why I applaud Chris Rock for showing black excellence. And with that, we out.
We're going to bounce out. And you know what? This was another edition of Mi Gente, My People with your host, Claudia CC Perez, and co-host, Ada. We just call her Ada. Didn't she have a last name?
Ada.
Yeah, everybody makes fun of it.
Ada.
What is it?
Ada.
It's carry on, which in the dictionary means dead to clay flesh. Not a carry on suitcase, dead to clay flesh. My name is on the it's in the zoos and everywhere. I'm just thinking one of my ancestors must have been a butcher or
Carry on, which means dead, decaying flesh.
Yep, that's what it means.
I didn't know that. You schooled me today.
Yeah, that's some new shit.
CARRION.
Carry on. Well, that's what we shall do.
Yep.
We shall carry on.
Orion. Instead of Orion,
Yeah, she's A. Ryan.
C. Orion.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
All right, and so we have Ada Carry On and Claudia CC Perez, Rock Logic, and I'm out, y'all.